The Conversation, 13th of November 2023, How does the Pacific region view China in reality? Though not everyone likes it, it's more subtle than you might think. Although not everyone is fond of China, she has allies as long as the Chinese people continue to pay. She will lose all her cash for higher acquaintances if the money stops rolling in. China has been progressively expanding its presence around the Pacific to undermine the long-standing strong ties many nations have with the US and Australia and to gain more clout. However, what are the opinions of those living in the Pacific about China's growing involvement and interest in the area? We found this by conducting surveys with locals in Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands, two nations where China has recently concentrated its outreach efforts. A foreign policy of friend to all and enemy to none has been adopted by both countries. China's leading regional commercial and diplomatic partner is Papua New Guinea. Following his visit to Beijing, Prime Minister James Marape talked with Chinese leaders about strengthening their security and economic connections, which may include creating a shared currency trading system. Conversely, since September 2019, when China renounced its official recognition of Taiwan, the connection between the Solomon Islands and China has flourished. China has exerted tremendous effort to support commerce, aid, agriculture, health, fisheries, and law enforcement cooperation with the government of Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare. Beijing hopes to develop this alliance to set an example for other Pacific Island countries that continue to recognize Taiwan. Although the Solomon Islands and PNG governments applaud China's increasing engagement with their nations, our research revealed that this wasn't always the case with the local populace. Overwhelming worry about pollution to the environment. In our first poll, we asked people currently residing in or have lived in Madang Province, the home of the China-owned Ramun Eco project in Papua New Guinea, to rank the project's corporate social responsibility. In all, we received 100 answers, most of which came from staff and students at Divine Word University, both past and present. 2019 saw the operator of the nickel mine issue an apology after an estimated 200,000 liters of poisonous slurry were inadvertently spilled into a bay inside the province. Nearly 60% of respondents felt that PNG had not profited from the mine project, while the majority, 98%, expressed concern about environmental contamination. When asked if they supported the prior government's approval of the China-owned Ramun Eco project in the past, about 70% of respondents replied they did not. However, because they gain financially from the endeavor through royalties or auxiliary businesses, residents in the mining lease area tend to see it more favorably. Furthermore, 72% of participants supported the PNG government's efforts to forge closer ties with China. Scholarships enhance people's perceptions of China. In the second poll, conducted by Deng Guozhang and Jefferstirgun Heptal, 78 PNG students to whom the Chinese government had awarded scholarships were questioned about their opinions on the program and Chinese soft power. Still, they also reported experiencing a great deal of prejudice from the Chinese. Most participants, 87%, expressed their willingness to suggest the program to their acquaintances. Their perceptions of China seem to shift due to their studies there. Before their trip to China, the students were asked to rate the Chinese political system against that of Western nations on a 5-point rating scale, ranging from a shallow impression to a very high one. Before their study abroad experience, the students' average score for the Chinese system was 3.45 out of 5. Following their enrollment in the program and a year of residence in China, their average score rose to 4.01. Additionally, after participating in the scholarship program, their average score on China's environmental sustainability increased from 3.17 to 3.73. The average score the students received also increased, rising from 3.47 to 3.80. Extremely useful in constructing our roads. For the third poll, we asked 93 Solomon Islands National University students about their opinions on China and more conventional Pacific partners like the US and Australia, conducted by Deng Guozhang and Lindsay Pendevarana. 2/3 of our respondents supported a closer bilateral relationship between China and the Solomon Islands, but support for a more intimate relationship with the US was even higher, 76%. In the Solomon Islands, over 4/5 of these pupils endorsed China's Belt and Road initiatives. They are very helpful in building and upgrading our roads, a participant commented. But the opinion of the other fifth was more unfavorable. One student stated, "Their goal is to put our government at risk of debt, which gives the Chinese control over all of our resources. This Belt and Road project will be a debt trap for a country like Solomon Islands with a weak economy," said a different student. NGOs are becoming more cautious about the Belt and Road Initiative. Non-governmental organizations in the Pacific have less optimistic opinions of China than some students we polled in PNG and the Solomon Islands. For instance, a different study in 2021 by one of the authors, Danghua Zhang, of 57 NGOs in PNG, Fiji, and Tonga revealed that most respondents in each nation disapproved of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Human rights abuses, poor leadership, debt traps, degradation of the environment, and a flood of low-quality Chinese goods and tiny enterprises into their nations were among their worries. One representative of a Fijian NGO, for instance, expressed that she feels that Fiji can go down the same path as Sri Lanka with their port example. Our most recent surveys provide a more nuanced picture of local perceptions of China around the Pacific. Our participants' opinions on China were significantly more complex and nuanced than love China or hate China. Policymakers in the US and Australia should be aware of this as they work to counter China's efforts to strengthen its ties in the region, as it is frequently overlooked in media stories on China's influence in the area.